What is up, YouTube? Wow, guys. So, a lot of you know I've been kind of backing off in videos lately. It's just been super busy with everything going on in my life. And today, I did a short a while back talking about how I feel like the retro game collecting trend is over. Now, I think a lot of people mistakenly took this for I'm saying that retro game collecting is dead. Obviously not. The hobby is still going. I was just having some thoughts the one day. I was sitting there and I just noticed that when I was searching through YouTube and other things like social media and stuff, I noticed that the retro game collecting was not getting as much track as it used to be, whether it be views, everything like that. It just seemed to be less popular. Obviously, I had a lot of people just reach out. A few of them were like, "It's not dead, blah blah blah. It's still going strong." And it wasn't. I wasn't saying, like I said, it was dead. I just noticed that at one time, guys, it was a few years ago, that there was a retro game collecting channel that was popping up every 5 seconds. It seemed like. Obviously, I was one of them. I really got into the hobby. I was watching some YouTubers like Metal Jesus Rocks, John Riggs, Pixel Game Squad, and all these other channels. And I myself was getting into retro game collecting at the time to relive my youth, essentially. So, and it seemed to go strong for many years. Obviously, we've seen once COVID hit, it took off extremely well. Prices and everything skyrocketed. And just lately, I've noticed that the views are not getting as much as they once did. I'm not just talking about my channel in general. I'm just talking about most channels. The latest short, like I said, that I did, I have the comments and stuff off to the side over here, was pretty opening for me. And I think a lot of people too, because there was a few people on that said that, you know what, I've noticed this as well, whether it be with my own channel or other channels in general, that it just seems like the viewership has really dropped off. And of course, a couple of them, like even Pixel Game Squad themselves, commented on it, saying as someone who's been doing it for a decade, it's pretty normal. There will be high times and then there will be dead periods, just kind of part of it, which we understand. I mean, it's with anything. And you actually are doing this for fun, so we always keep doing it. Yeah, and that's what this is all about. Is if you look at YouTube more as like a job, then obviously something like this is going to bother you extremely. This is not a job for me. This is something fun I do. This is something I like to do in my free time, especially when I'm on night shift like tonight and I have nothing else to do besides stay awake, and I enjoy making content like this. So that's the fun of it. Usually around the time people start to do live more, which is awesome. I actually prefer people get offline more. We have to do this for fun, so we always keep doing it. Views are just a bonus if people watch our shenanigans. So that was a nice comment that they left in that short. And that was a huge thing too that I've also noticed. I have a friend that would always that I talked to that had mentioned that in November, winter, and stuff like that, his views were phenomenal. They're off the charts. But then once it started to warm up, it really kind of backed off. And I mean, it makes sense. People are going outside more. They're not watching TV as much, YouTube and everything like that. So that was a big factor in this too. I've noticed that. But I've noticed it. I keep saying I noticed this, but I was noticing this a few months ago. It not only was the channels themselves seeming to die out. That was another comment I made, and I kind of was looking around, but a lot of channels were seeming to disappear, whether it be short notice or slowly or just completely gone, retiring from YouTube itself. I have seen a few channels come back though as well, but it was just really kind of like, and yeah, it's nuts. One of the other things I've noticed is a lot of people are selling off their collections right now. I don't know. So I talked about how I personally was just kind of over it. I'm over collecting games in Central. I kind of moved on to like sports cards and stuff because my son has gotten into that. And I used to be a big sports card collector, football mainly growing up. So it's been something we've been able to share, and I've been enjoying that more. But I just, I've been selling off a lot of my retro game stuff. You can see some stuff still behind me. I still got some games and everything. But I've just slowly been whittling away at it because it just seems like Like one of my other friends said, it just takes up too much space. And then when I come down here anymore, I just kind of just don't enjoy looking at it. And if it's something you don't enjoy anymore, then you might as well just kind of wash your hands with it. But that's just been something else I've been noticing, is that a lot of these channels, they've been selling off their collection, they're done retro game collecting, period. And at this point, is with many people that are bowing out of it. I think a lot has to do with the prices are still high, even though this is not being as popular as it once was. I think, like I said, with not just sports cards, but cards in general right now are really taking off in popularity. I noticed that on Whatnot, there's new freaking card channels popping up daily. It's just kind of nuts. And lastly, I had a commenter that wanted me to make sure that I mentioned something about this. That was for What's on My Shelf. His comment was, retro dies when there's no more new retro fans. I met a 17-year-old girl at a garage sale last weekend who loves the Game Boy and physical cards. She's not the only one. My nephew wants to find a DS. Like the girl I met, he couldn't have been along for a ride during the DS lifetime. He wasn't even 2 years old when the 3DS was released. The fans are out there. Maybe they just don't want to watch boomer millennials and Gen Xers. So, I mean, and it honestly, that makes sense. This is a debate. This is not just, yeah. It's not completely true that the trend is completely dying off. I was just mentioning in my video how, like I said, at one point I was flooded on YouTube all the time with new channels I never even heard of. Obviously, my algorithm has changed slightly over the last few months because I've watched, like I said, more sports card stuff. But I had more people than not tell me how, yeah, there's just like the retro game collecting trend just seems to be going off. It's not as popular. Now, obviously, like you said, I didn't mean to say that retro dies. I didn't say that the game collecting itself is dying. Obviously, people are still doing it. It's a hobby. I'm just thinking, I think we're starting to weed out the more casual collectors, and it's really just a hardcore collector staying behind. The fact that a 17-year-old girl is into Game Boy and physical cards, it's awesome. My sons personally kind of got out of the games themselves. The two older ones are focusing on jobs now. They both graduated high school, so they're really just moving on with their lives. And my youngest son is, like I said, into sports cards with me, but he's also just into sports and physical activity as well. He'll play video games here and there, but more than likely he'd rather be outside, which is cool. I'm not saying, I'm actually kind of surprised with that. I was expecting him to be more of a gamer, but he enjoys sports a lot more. But that is the truth. These hobbies will not die out, period, if there's new and improved, or not improved, but new audiences that are taking it up every day. I'm sure in a few months here we'll probably just see, I think sometimes it just takes something to spark back up, people watching channels again. And it could be anything from, a release of a new mini console, or like now Switch 2 is coming out, and I'm sure everybody's YouTube's going to be flooded with content with that. And before you guys ask, no, I do not plan on getting one. I honestly don't. Nintendo bugs me nowadays. I don't really like them as much as I once did. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. I want to know in your comments below what you guys think about this subject. Obviously, I'm not saying retro game collecting is dying. I'm just saying that it is obviously not as popular as it once was. So I want to hear what you guys in general have to say about this. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. As always, stay retro, my friends. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we'll have some more videos coming up about this subject. I got a couple projects in mind. This was just kind of a quick pop-up one because I want to stay a little active, keep videos coming out. I should be able to get some more videos coming out for you guys, so stay tuned.